Hey, I'm gonna try to connect. From my computer. So if it tells you, I'm gonna see if that works because my phone is a little cracked and it's got a bad.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Chicken Bone Alley, brought to you by SRI Performance, Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, Earl Ramey Racing Engines, and Profab Headers and Exhaust. What's going on, guys? I'm David.
I'm Connor.
And we got a guest already on the Zoom with us already. Mr. Landon Lewis, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, nothing much. How about yourself?
Oh, just another Monday in paradise. You know how it is.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I'm just sitting here behind you admiring and jealous of the three TVs side by side on the wall, whether we're watching racing or football or whatever. I mean, it's a good setup back there, man.
Yeah, we had the Derby on yesterday with the football going. There was all kinds of stuff going, so it was good.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and ask you because me and Connor talk about it all the time. Who's your college team?
Who's my college team?
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't really have a favorite. I just like watching college football. It's just exciting. Like, there's... they have something to prove, so it's very exciting. I don't really have a favorite, to be honest. I don't watch it enough to have a favorite, but when it comes down to the end of the year, it's always pretty exciting to watch.
Are you happy with the playoff bracket that is up?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm happy about SMU still making it. That's it's something else. I don't know if I'm happy about SMU still making it in. I don't know.
They weren't gonna please everybody, were they?
They definitely were not going to please everybody. That is for sure. But I know one man who was pleased this weekend. Landon, man, you I was telling somebody today, I was like, well, you don't know if you're going to turn on TV and see him in a truck or on the Cars tour or driving an ARCA ride or like this past weekend winning $25,000 in a legend car. Man, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, honestly. The show was really awesome to be a part of. Mike and Mason Diaz did a really good job of treating the racer and doing what the racer wanted to do. So that was really cool. They kind of took in consideration. It was really cold. down there. I woke up one morning, it was 19 degrees in North Carolina, which is not very normal. So they did a really good job. They pushed the show back a little bit to kind of let the sun come up to get a little warmer, and I thought the show was just really, really well.
I was watching it up while y'all were running up there, and I was like, man, it was cold. But I was like, I don't know what was colder, that race or the week before at the Classic, because that was pretty cold too.
It was both pretty cold.
That's rough. Man, if you can, real quick, I want to go back a little bit. Our buddy Brian Hicks was just here in the shop messing with you a little bit. He was telling me about earlier, about you used to run with them some back in the day, back at Myrtle Beach and stuff, and it's kind of where you cut your teeth on the asphalt tracks and stuff back in the day.
Yeah, so that was really cool. Being able to race at Myrtle Beach, right? Actually, the year that it was closing, so that was really cool because that's really honestly where I grew up. From a baby playing with jack stands to jacks, and just watching my dad race. My great grandfather raced there, my grandpa, my dad, and then myself. So we were I was the fourth generation to get to race there. So that was really cool. And actually, my last race, I got to race with my grandpa, so that was really neat. He actually passed me one time, and I was not going to let that slide. So it was really cool, and just definitely doesn't feel that long ago, but it's long. It's 5 years now?
Oh, so, too long.
Yeah,
that's what it's been. Cool, man. That's really cool. And well, since then, me and Connor both have had the, I guess we'll say, privilege of getting our butt whooped out there in some legend cars a few times by you over here at Florence Motor Speedway, at least. So, man, I know it's so hard. And it's probably just a open-ended question, but dude, I'm not trying to blow your head up. I'm not that guy, but it's like everything you've jumped in, man, you have excelled at. I don't care if it's been, a late model, a truck, a legend car, obviously, and everything else. What do what is it about you that you feel like you're able to jump in anything and just be fast?
Well, it all starts with the people I have around me that I surrounded myself around, and that's where it all starts, to be honest. Just surrounding myself around great people, and it helps me, I guess, learn faster with Ron, obviously, mentoring me, and they're more like family to me now than friends, and I live at his daughter's house, so having them in my corner, Kevin, Delana, Keelan, those are another awesome family that it's part of my success, I guess you can call it, helping Keelan out. So the biggest thing is just having the right people around me to help me adapt to the different things that I've done this year, done in the past, and it's just a huge help. And actually, I feel like it just gives me a little extra step when it comes to driving something new.
I hear you there, man. And I know we'll talk about legend cars real quick because obviously you're coming off a big win in a legend car, and man, that Joe Ryan group, Joe Ryan Osborne, he's a man, legend on the legend car side. And I know you've learned a lot from him too. And where do you feel like that started with him? Obviously, I mean, I felt like as soon as you jumped in a legend car, it was kind of success. But how do you feel like that came around for you?
Well, I guess I would just take you back through the whole how it all honestly worked out. The story's honestly really cool of how it all worked out. So I was obviously racing go-karts around the Carolinas, me and my dad just traveling everywhere and trying to race on the national level. And finally, we were at Dublin when it was still open and watching the modifieds and the late models and stuff. And actually, Billy Workman, which is married to Candace, which is Ron's daughter, he was racing modifieds at the time. My dad really liked those cars, and so he got in contact with Candace, which is Ron's daughter, and talked about coming up and looking at a car. Well, through this whole situation, I had no clue. I was coming up to Charlotte for a banquet, a national banquet, so I was just coming up here to get a couple checks and trophies and go back home. Well, we made a stop at Ron's shop, and it kind of just took off from there. We bought the car, went and raced it. Ron was there for my first race, and that's all it wrote. When he came to the first race, he didn't miss another one after that. So that was really cool to have Ron in my corner. And then a couple months go by, and Candace's daughter actually is married to Joe. And so they were like, hey, let's go put Landon in one of your cars and go test. And at that point, they just started dating. So it was very fresh. and I went and tested at Concord when it was still open, and we tested one time, and then went to Winter Nationals down in Florida, and it took off from there. We won our first race, our second race out. I won my first race, and we just started doing things together. And I actually would come up here during the summer, work all summer with Joe, and go travel to the summer shootout to Atlanta, to wherever we were going to race that week and that time. And I just kept doing that, and then go back home for school and go through all those motions, and just kept doing it back and forth. And finally, when I was 15, I moved up here and started living with Joe and Candace, and then it just really took off from there. And now I live up here full time.
A seasoned vet at the at your young age still.
Yeah, to be honest, when I look back at everything and, take the moment to kind of slow down and just realize what's really going on, it's really cool of how everything's just fallen into place. We all talk about how getting opportunities and moving up is just all about timing, not just in racing, but in life in general. And that's just what it's been. It's just been perfect time and meeting the right people. Like I told you earlier, it's just surrounding myself around really good people.
There you go, man. That's what you got to have. All right, well, let's get to the race that was at hand this past weekend, man, up at Southern National. $25,000 to win, and you took it home. Kind of walk us through the weekend a little bit. When you got there, unloaded, I know, and I've wondered about this. Me and Connor have even talked about this. I had a Legend car, and we were running it, and Connor still runs one every once in a while. Is it just when you get to a track and get in the car, obviously we want it to drive good, but is there just a certain feel that that car needs to have?
Yeah, I mean, obviously being able to be in a Legend car for 5 years now, I've just kind of understood of what I really need for these races. The biggest thing, like starting in the weekend, is I just focused on 70 laps. Like I had to be there at lap 70 to win the race. So I wasn't trying to set my car up to make it for 25 laps. I needed to set it up for 70. So just having that, I feel like, experience with the car store, like we talked about, and running these longer races, I feel like helped me. And like you said, just knowing the feel that I need for these longer races and for the shootouts that you have that are 25, 30 laps.
For sure, man, for sure. All right, so walk us through it. You got in there, got out, practice. Did you know you had a good piece right off the bat?
I knew exactly right when we unloaded. We had a really good car. It honestly all started the week before when we were down there for the Classic. We fired off really good, and to be honest, I didn't know what I had because this week I had to put the disc brakes on, which is something totally different because I was running on the drum brakes.
Oh, really?
Bilstein shocks, the FZ09, like everything original. And I went and ran the Classic. We were really fast, and we had a really good car, but I told Joe I wasn't going to make it 70 laps with those drum brakes because actually when we went to Florence, remember they had that 75-lap race? We were on drums, and about lap 40, I was struggling to get in the corner just because it was so loose with the drums. Obviously, they were a lot looser on the longer runs. That's right. So I unloaded, and I didn't really know what to do. I had to get used to brakes after we were really good there a week before. So that was probably the biggest struggle I had, honestly, all weekend.
God, Connor, I thought we were behind on stuff. I wasn't. It's my driving. It was still my driving. I'm sorry. So come time for qualifying, man. Obviously, you knew what you had there. How'd it feel? Ready to rock at that point?
Yeah. In practice, we showed really good speed. Like I told you earlier, I really tried to focus on 70 laps, like what I needed to have at lap 70. And so the draft is pretty big, and it really changes the balance of the race car. So you get behind someone, it turns really good. But the moment you get out front, it can be really tight. So I focused all weekend not following anyone to just try to get the car good by myself because I knew if I got behind someone, it would be better. And so we worked on that, got it really good, I thought, and then bolted on a set of tires for qualifying, or didn't bolt on a set of tires, but had some newer tires that we were kind of trying to save because that track is so abrasive, just like Florence is. So we try to slow it down, and I just honestly overdrove everything. And I screwed myself from qualifying and laid an egg. And so I started fifth in the pole shuffle, which I thought was really cool. It honestly kind of brought me like the Chili Bowl vibes of the pole shuffle, and you can gain spots. So started the pole shuffle and drove from fifth to the lead, and had a really good car. I think we were leading by like 2 seconds after the 15 laps. So my car was really, really good. And then so for the race, we had all separate tires, brand new tires that we had to all start on. And our staggers weren't exactly the same as the set before. So we tried to adjust for that as much as we could, which the whole team tried to. And we got it close, but I was just way too tight at the start of the race. So I felt like that hurt me for the start of the race.
Connor, did you hear that just a second ago? He said he laid an egg and qualified fifth.
Nice.
It's terrible, man. It's terrible.
Well, I hold myself to a high expectation.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I don't go to the racetrack to lose. I've told them, Billy actually, that works for Joe, and obviously, like I told you, married to Candace. We were joking around one day, and we were talking about, going to the racetrack and finishing second and third. And I said, the day that I tell you that I'd go to the racetrack to have fun, take me out, because I'm going there to win no matter what. And that's what we do. And obviously I'm 18, so I still have a long time of racing, I hope. And so I go to the racetrack to win no matter what. So when I lay an egg and qualify fifth, I'm pretty upset at myself.
I can see it, man. I can see it. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. You just talked about it real quick. I want to go into it really fast, and you just talked about your guys there racing with you, Joe Ryan racing, and stuff like that. Let's talk about Keelan, just because you just talked about a little while ago. That's somebody that's, obviously in your life, far as racing a lot now, you with KHI. And, man, you're saying you at 18, look at Keelan all of a sudden, and he's moving into a late model already. Dude, I'm going to tell you, I told somebody the other day, I was like, man, he is a driver already, but he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. But how's it feel to be kind of the old man of the bunch somewhat now, and those guys leaning on you?
Well, it's funny we talk about this right now, because me and Kevin actually had the conversation a couple of days ago, and he's like, it's crazy, 12 years old, Keelan's in a late model. He's like, when I was 12 years old, I was still racing go-karts and just having fun and trying to win. So it's definitely different being the older guy on a team. I remember when I was 12 years old, I was running dirt modifieds at that time for Ron. And so I was his size, and now I look at him and I'm like, was I really racing a modified at that young of an age? So now that I'm able to look at Keelan, and he's 12 years old, and seeing the size difference, I'm like, man, I'm starting to feel old. So, but it's really cool to be able to work with Keelan and work with Kevin, and just seeing how different it is. Kevin coming from the Cup side and having years and years of racing experience at the top level, it just helps me a ton, just being able to understand the sport better.
All right, well, going into the race, man, obviously you and the entire Joe Ryan crew kind of figured it out for the most part there. Top three at the finish there. Man, that's strong in a race like that.
Yeah, it was pretty strong. So start of the race, I started on the pole and fired off, and I'm like, wow, this thing's really, really, really tight. So I tried to hold on as much as I could, and I was really checking up the center of the corner quite a bit. And finally, Keelan got by me, and I got behind him, and I was riding in second, and the car was like I told you earlier, like it handled totally different. I'm like, wow, this thing's pretty good. So I started getting a little better. The car started to feel a little better and coming around to me. So I passed him back for the lead, and I got back out front, and it was still the same. It was still really, really tight. So I kind of settled in, got past right there before lap 35. I messed up and settled in for third, and I knew my car was good enough to run behind them, but it wasn't good enough to run up front and maintain the lead. So caution come out, lap 35, we came in, pitted. Joe asked me what I need, and I said I need this thing to be freed up, like a lot. Like I'll be able to drive it, just freed up as much as you can. So we freed it up as much as possible and fired off, and it was a lot better from the green of the lap 35 break. And I was just good enough to hold the lead and keep the gap to 2 to 3 car lengths, and that's what we needed to win the race. But I tell you, I told Ron this the other day. Actually, yesterday, I went by his house, and I said, the last 10 laps, I was shaking. I looked up, and I looked up at the board one time, and it said, lap 50. And I'm like, wow, I got a long time to go. Well, then the next time I looked up, he's holding 10 to go, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I cannot mess up. Knowing that, Jacob was only 2 car lengths behind me at that point. And then I looked back up, and the popsicle sticks were out. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so the last lap, I'm talking to myself. I'm like, don't mess up, don't mess up. And then finally came around, the checker flew, and I was just like so happy, and like you just felt everything come off your shoulders. I'm like, all right, I won the race and I didn't mess up, so life's good now.
Coming from someone like yourself that has won ARCA Menards races and you know countless other races, where's a win like this rank?
Ooh. I mean, like you said, ARCA races and running the truck series a little bit and running the legend cars. I would honestly put this one at the top with everything that I've done. It was the one that I had to work really, really hard for. And it was really cool too that I got to do it with pretty much my family. That's what I call them because they are. And so that was really cool to be able to do it with those group of people, Joe Ryan, Candace, Billy. So I would rank this one pretty high, just considering $25,000, my highest ever win that I've ever
Wow.
won was 25,000. So this will be it. And so that was pretty cool.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Good deal, man. Well, congratulations on that for sure. But I do want to go into just a little bit with you. I don't want to keep you too long, but man, I want to go into a little bit of this past year. I mean, you kind of got into whatever you could, and even before this year, you know, obviously you talk about you come from dirt modifieds. We've seen you get in a dirt late model before, just you know. And everything else, but the trucks, ARCA, whatever you can race, man. Do you feel like one that's obviously got to be helping you grow in, but is there one thing that you kind of like more or that you have a lot of fun with?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I have a lot of fun with the legend card stuff. It's a blast. They're a handful to drive, like we all know. They don't drive well, and you don't. It's totally, honestly, it's really opposite of what like the late model side of it is. The legend car, if you're comfortable, you're slow. You have to be uncomfortable to be fast, and so that's the part that gets me going because it really drives me towards like the modified. How the modified you're on the edge, on the sideways, up on the bars, and that's kind of where I feel like it correlates a little bit. It's just you got to drive it every lap like it's the last, and if you don't, you're going to be slow.
There you go, man. There you go. Well, I do want to ask though about this last season. You spent a good bit of time in the or decent amount of time in the late model stock, running some cars tour races and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, how'd you like that?
I mean, it was fun, very fun. I enjoyed, and I'm just honored to be able to drive for Kevin and him giving me the opportunity to go race for him. That was really cool. Like I talked to you earlier about how it's all full circle.
Yeah.
Ron used to race for Kevin at KHI, and now Ron's mentoring me, and I'm racing for Kevin at KHI late model team. So it's just evolving circle. And the late model season went really well, I felt like, for what we were up against.
Yeah.
I wish I could have won some more races personally. I'm glad we got one this year. That was
That's right.
way to half off the year. With everything that we were up against starting, I mean, this year really was our first full year of racing late model stocks. The year before that, we ran 5 races total, I feel like, with Lane Riggs and Josh Berry. So this year was our first full-time year, and we had some different guys coming in and out of the shop, and it was definitely challenging, but I felt like we made the most of it with Brent winning, I think, 3 races, and I won 1, and
Yep.
we qualified on the pole a couple times and showed really good speed. So I was really happy. I'm hoping that we can get a little better, and I think we'll have a good year.
Awesome. That is cool, man. So working with somebody like, obviously you talk about working with Ron, also working with Kevin. Kevin's extensive background, obviously all the way up through Cup. Working with him now, what is it that he brings to you? Is it driving advice, or is it out the car advice, or what do you feel like he brings most to you?
It's really both, driving and life in general. I know I can go up to him right now and ask him a question of anything I need to know of life, how to, run a race team to how to drive. He has the answer for it. And he's just been there for me, the last 3 years at this point, with helping Keelan and driver coaching him, getting him started in the legend car, and now helping him with the late model stuff, being able to driver coach him. And Kevin he's really cool to work for. Obviously, I work at KHI full time, so that's really cool to see him in and out of the shop. And it's really neat because I told this in the interview before when we won Wake the week before this. I hit everything but the pace car. I mean, everything. And I destroyed the race car. And, obviously I got to fix it every week that I mess it up. So we're at the shop Monday. I'm working on it, trying to get this thing ready to go for Wake on Friday night. And Kevin comes in the shop and he pulls me over to the side and he goes, listen, you got to get your stuff together. We can't be wrecking race cars every week. You got to get your stuff figured out. I don't know what it is, but you need to figure it out. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know that conversation was coming, but I'm glad it did because it really made me, go home, think about really what I was doing and really realizing that I had to finish races to be able to get results. And that was something that really helped me. I feel like towards the end of the year too, with finishing the last 3 races, making the best of it, and then we won Wake that week after, and so that was really cool.
Well, awesome, man. That is cool. I do want to ask you though, any announcements that you've already put out there? Anything of what your 2025 holds yet?
No, I don't have any announcements yet. Obviously, going to try to work out a deal with KHI and run their late model program a little bit more next year, but I don't have any plans right as of now. Like we all know, money makes the world go around,
That's right.
So we got to get the funding and get everything together. But I have great people behind me to be able to help me do that with Kevin, Delana, everyone at KHI. The group's amazing. Ron, Lindy, everyone at the Hornaday family. Candace for, allowing me to stay at her house and helping me out as much as I can, or as she can, and Billy, and obviously what this interview is about with Joe Ryan Race Cars and being able to go out there and win $25,000 and win the second highest paying legend car race in history. So that's really cool to be able to do that.
For sure, man. Well, dude, I sure appreciate it, and I don't want to hold you any longer. But, man, it's been great having you on here, and I hope we can have you back soon, man. Let's talk about some more big wins.
Yeah, let's get some more wins, and then we can do this more often.
That's right, buddy. I do want to tell you something real quick, though. It's funny. You were talking about your dad and him earlier. I'd seen your dad race down at Myrtle Beach and everything, but the first time I actually met him was about, I think, August in a Dollar General in Timminsville, South Carolina.
Wow, I don't know what he was doing at a Dollar General, but
he was buying he bought the whole box of fold-out chairs that they had there.
They were probably going to Florence or something like
That's
that.
exactly what he was doing. He was like, he's like, I need a whole row of chairs. It was great. So,
that sounds like my dad.
It was great.
Yep. They try to make every race they can, and I can't forget them for allowing me to come up here, move up here when I was 15 years old, and I know it's tough on them for me not being home as much as I want to be or need to be in their eyes, but they just been there since day one to support me and go home for Christmas and see everyone, and then back to work and get ready for next year.
That's right, buddy. Well, man, if we don't talk to you before, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, and we sure appreciate you jumping on with us, man.
Yes, thank you guys, and hopefully, like you said, we can get some more big wins and do this soon.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Landon Lewis jumping on board with us first thing tonight.
Yeah.
We've been texting back and forth trying to line everything up and got it right, and he jumped on with us. So we greatly appreciate him, and congratulations to him again on picking up a $25,000 win in a legend car. I don't know. I hadn't seen anywhere. Was that like the biggest legend car race? Or is there
wasn't there that one in Charlotte that year?
Was.
The Daniel Hemrick one.
That's right.
I thought I thought it was less than this, but it might have been more than 25,000. I can't remember the
That
amount.
was forever ago.
But that was the last.
forever
That was the
ago.
only big money Legends race that I can think of outside of this recent one here. So
For sure. Well,
cool deal.
before we get into everything here, let's thank some sponsors.
Chicken Bone Alley is brought to you by SRI Performance. They are your one-stop shop for all things racing. Do you need performance parts? Look no further. They offer a wide range of high-performance parts for various types of racing, including stock car racing, dirt racing, and more. SRI Performance also has the most knowledgeable employees in the industry. If you're looking for that hard-to-find part, they've got it. And if you're wondering how to make it work on your car, they know it. Check them out online at www.sriperformance.com. And when you do, don't forget to use the promo code CBONE10. That's C as in chicken, BONE10, and get 10% off at checkout. Stock Car Steel and Aluminum is a full-line steel service center stocking thousands of sizes, shapes, grades, and types of metals and plastic. If you need it, they have it. And if not, they work fast to find what you need and get it to you. Stock Car Steel and Aluminum also has the ability to cut orders to your specifications as requested. Their dedicated team not only brings many years of experience to the table, but they are always ready and willing to lend a hand with anything you may need. Stock Car Steel and Aluminum. Your material needs are covered here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Also, we always want to thank our good friends over at Profab Headers and Exhaust. Ladies and gentlemen, Profab Headers and Exhaust. They are, I saw today, they said they are skipping PRI this week.
Really?
To go to the big old Street Stock Nationals, $100,000 to win to support their guys down there. So that's where the racers need to be, right there. So that when they say they're quality that wins, they're quality that wins because they're also at the track for you guys, for sure. So go check out Profab Headers and Exhaust. Also, Earl Ramey Racing Engines. Talked to Earl, I think it was the end of last week. Cool stuff coming up from him that we're going to be talking about here really soon. Some really, really, really cool stuff that I may be taking a trip up there. Maybe. We're trying to line stuff up. And, but, sorry. But if you got a race car, or even now, what we were talking about with Earl, if I don't care if you got just an old classic car, a muscle car, whatever you want a big motor to put in, go to Earl Ramey Racing Engines. He can hook you up and get you ready to go on all fronts, engine-wise. So go check out our buddy Earl Ramey at Earl Ramey Racing Engines. All right, Connor, there was a decent amount of racing this past weekend. We just talked about one. Talked about the Legend Car race there. Obviously, we had Gateway, the Dome, Dirt-wise, and we had the Snowball Derby this past weekend. So kind of a busy weekend of racing in December.
Yeah, it was very busy. It was good. I enjoy watching.
I just couldn't pick which. I mean, it was tough to pick a. I needed a setup like Landon's to have multiple races on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we switched back and forth between Gateway and the Snowball Derby and all, and tried to watch everything. I think we got most of the big stuff.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Gateway real quick since it was kind of chronologically in the order. Well, kind of. Five Flags was pretty much racing every night too. I think from what Thursday
on
Friday, yeah. So anyway, we'll run through Gateway a little bit. I didn't catch like all the prelims and everything like that, but I did catch most of the mains. But the main there on Saturday night, obviously Brandon Shepherd took home as a bunch of people, and then we all saw Super Shep, Stevie Shepherd and Tyler Carpenter kind of get into it. Which is just Super Shep's MO, because, you know, he'll fly in the middle of your hood if he has to. He's done it before. I've seen it. I was listening to him. They added a little bit of banking to the track this year.
Didn't they?
Just a little bit. There was a lot of cars that went out the track this year, or up into the fence.
Yeah, I saw that. I watched a little bit of the prelims, and I watched most of it. I didn't make the modified Saturday night because they still had to do driver intros and work the track.
I ain't gonna lie, I fell asleep for it. I had to go back and watch it.
Yeah,
watch the races.
That's the only thing I didn't watch. But yeah, I saw some videos. It always happened because it happened 2 or 3 times, but it always happened when I wasn't watching somehow, even though I watched a good majority of it. But yeah, that was interesting to see for sure.
Well, I think, and I'm no engineer by no means. You're closer than I am.
I'm not real close either.
But just my way of logically trying to think about it, I feel like when they added the banking, the way the wall is still at basically 90 degrees from the floor. So when you add banking, it kind of makes it, and then on top of that, it looked like they were building more of a cushion because of a little bit higher speeds so by the time the night was getting towards the end, what was left of the wall was probably
not real
a
tall.
foot and a half tall, and it was just like a ramp. That's what it looked like anyway. If you didn't catch it right, you just in the fence, into a fence post. And fence post did not move. Did you see any of them guys? I seen them go through the middle of the fencing, but there was like 2 cars that jumped up.
Yeah, I saw the fence caught it.
It caught the fence post.
Which is good.
It's great.
You want to keep them in the track there.
For sure. But it was some, I felt like the racing. I hate to say this, but it's a good thing this year. I feel like that the in years past, it's kind of been more of a show. The track was super bumpy and just, you couldn't pass anybody. I did feel like with the addition, and maybe it was the banking, that they could make moves out there. They could pass, and it just seemed like more of a legitimate race.
Yeah, to me, and I heard some of the drivers say this too, it honestly got better. Like Thursday wasn't very good. It was about a foot on the bottom and a foot on the top that wasn't just completely slick. But as the weekend got on, there seemed like there was, a pretty racy track, like you said. I could see them bottom would work, top would work, middle would work at times. So, I understand, like you said, it's kind of a spectacle to see super late models racing around a little track like that. But I did enjoy the racing as well.
I did too.
Who was that running down Brandon Shepard there? Can't remember.
That was Bobby Pierce.
Yeah.
And he broke the last corner and still finished second.
Yeah, it was exciting.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if he's gonna, make something happen or not.
He almost did.
He said, yeah. But I enjoyed it. It was I always like to watch that.
Yeah, it's always a great
Me and Dad talk about, I don't know how many rear spoilers and quarters they take, because it's like some of them, every time they went on the track, the whole
brand new
rear, the whole rear body work was tore off of the car.
Yep. And there were some of them I saw that that little, because they run that little corner piece spoiler that they can angle a little more and less. Some of them guys, once they knocked it off, they never put it back on. I'd be like, yeah, that's me. Just leave it off. Aerodynamics are counting none in here.
In qualifying on Thursday, it was just like every car just go in there and back it into the wall and then grab the gas and go.
Yeah.
But that was exciting. I guess you got to go in there saying we're gonna need some extra body panels.
It's becoming a highly sought after event to be at, and there was 35,000 people there watching.
Was there? Wow.
So that's pretty cool. Our buddy Devin Morgan was there racing. He didn't quite make he was on the first day schedule and hot lapped okay, broke a fuel pump before qualifying. Couldn't make qualifying. Had to tag on at the end of the heat. They took the top 6. He made it from like 12th to 7th. So you could pass. And
even who was that finished second? No.
At the end, Bobby Pierce.
Yeah, he came from like 13th or something.
Yeah.
So you could definitely make some hay.
Yeah, for sure. But Devin had to then run to LCQ and then finish like just a couple places out of transferring. But for I don't know, there's some names that come there that you don't know, and it's like they're fast.
Yeah,
you can tell they're the bull ring guys.
Yeah, it's definitely. Well, it's like running good there and running good at Volusia or outdoors, is different. But because you just saw Overton and Ricky Thornton, I know he did pretty good, but they weren't,
no, they
dominating.
wasn't the class of the field.
Yeah, it was kind of mixed up, which was exciting to see.
But that also tells you how good of drivers and how good a setup that Brandon Shepard and Bobby Pierce and those guys have, because they're not always, but they grew up. Those two guys in particular grew up in that area where it's a bunch of bull ring tracks in the Illinois and that area over there. So it don't surprise me to see them consistently good there. Second year in a row, Brandon Shepard has won at the Dome. All right, so beyond that, we had the Snowball Derby, and I'm trying to think back. I know Thursday night we had trucks.
Trucks, yeah.
And our buddy Caden Honeycutt finished second originally, but the truck that won did not pass tech. And so our buddy Caden Honeycutt inherited the win there. Trying to think what was next. Friday night
Friday was the modified.
modified.
Yeah.
Do you know who won that? I don't. Right
Can't
off.
remember the guy who won, but it was
I
it
was
was a
at
pretty
a-
good race.
I was at a Christmas party, so I didn't get to watch. Then Saturday, the Snowflake, which Stephen Nassy took home to win there, which isn't surprising to see Stephen Nassy win there ever, unless it's in the Snowball Derby, and then he's so close and just can't make it happen. Really a good race, I thought, Snowball Derby on Sunday.
Yeah.
Overall, it was just seemed like a really good show. Ty Majeski was fast all weekend. On what was it, Thursday? I think practice ended up piece of track come up. They had to replace the whole nose of the car because it busted it almost off. But other than that, he was still fast. Set on pole. Caden Honeycutt was outside pole, so both of them were fast all weekend. Race kind of went as the Snowball Derby goes, in my opinion. I mean, it just different tire strategies kind of play out. I don't know what you think throughout the middle of it.
Yeah, to be honest, I fell asleep with through part of
See
it.
how
Yeah.
it drags out sometimes.
Yeah, I watched the first 50, 75 laps, and then I kind of dozed off, and I actually woke up perfectly. It was about 50, 60 to go. So I don't know much what happened there, but because I kind of asked my dad, I said, was it just been the Ty Majeski show? But he said, no, I mean, there's been, some, movement. Like you said, tire strategy played a big part. But, 300 lap race, you got to ride a little bit. You can't, you can't just go wide open. But the last part was definitely exciting and a pretty good race overall, I thought.
It was there at the end. Ty Majeski said, he said, basically what he said was, I don't want to blame it on a bad set of tires.
Is that what he said? Yeah,
That's what he said. He said, I don't want to blame it on a bad set of tires. He said, we weren't great on the short run, which they had there at the end. He said he was better on the long run, but he just said a couple times, I don't want to blame it on a bad set of tires. So,
yeah. Which is interesting because they were ST3s, weren't they?
yeah, they were
Most of the drivers
pretty much a
said
super late model tire.
Yeah, was it just super late model?
Yeah.
Okay, I never heard of them
they're
until now.
Maybe a pro or super, but I know they were coming out with it for that race or before that, but that's what it was pointed towards, obviously. Bubba not great all weekend
No.
for whatever reason. Which is very unusual for him. Don't know what went on there. But our friend Caden Honeycutt managed to take home the Snowball Derby victory there. I texted him today, see if he could jump on, but he was traveling. He had a traveling day going back to Texas. So he wasn't able to jump on with us. But, man, congratulations to him. That is a dude's had a good season for sure.
He had about a season worth of racing just that weekend. So like he was in
telling you.
everything that went out on the track.
He was.
Which is cool.
He ran, I think he said 4 races.
Yeah.
Yeah, ran 4 races. Won 2 of them.
Not a bad weekend.
That's pretty good odds there. And people were talking about he was going to be tired, and he's like, nah, he's don't do nothing but give me more laps. I'm ready to go. So, man, I'm going to tell you, that guy, I've been watching him the last couple of years, really. We've seen him in late model stock, obviously. Seen him in pro late models, obviously winning the Cars Tour Pro Late Model Championship this year. Dude's good.
Oh, yeah.
Dude's good, and I think he's going to have big things coming if everything lands right in the Truck Series. So congratulations to him, to Caden Honeycutt winning the Snowball Derby there. But real quick, want to thank our good friends over at Dixie Made. Dixie Made right here in Florence, South Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, if you got some Christmas shopping to go do, head over, see our friends at Dixie Made right here in Florence, South Carolina, right by the flea market. They got all kind of Christmas sales going on, and can't beat the prices. And one thing really cool about Dixie Made, that I want to bring up is the price you see on the price tag is the price you pay at the register. Tax is already included. So you know exactly what you're working with. You ain't got to try to figure out this stuff in your head, because I like math, but man, I don't want to figure out tax. Now, I can figure out tire staggers. I can do that all day long. I don't want to figure out sales tax. That's aggravating. So head over to Dixie Made, and they'll hook you right up. RevMax Racing Apparel, guys. If you need a suit for your any of your racing needs, head over to see our friends at RevMax Racing Apparel. Also, Fresh Chef. If you're up in the Race City area, North Carolina, there, make sure to head over to Fresh Chef and go see our friends up there and get one of their daily food or drink specials. But you won't be missing on any of the great food. So that's all good stuff. So head over to Fresh Chef. Also, MPM Marketing, ladies and gentlemen. If you are starting in this world of racing and really want to move up and you need somebody that knows what they're doing, there's none better out there than MPM Marketing. www.marketwithmpm.com, and go check them out, and they'll it won't be beat on the marketing side, that's for sure. So yeah, go check them out for sure. All right, Connor. Well, I guess that's about all the racing we're going to talk about for the year. I mean, we got Snowball Derby. I mean, not Snowball. We got the what's the Tulsa Shootout coming up. We got the Chili Bowl coming up. But I'm not gonna lie, guys. I love watching them, and I watch them. There have been years. The year I had shoulder surgery, fortunately fell over the Tulsa Shootout, I think it was, like the day after I had surgery. So I literally sat there. I couldn't do anything. I watched every heat race.
Wow.
Every lap that was on the track for the Tulsa Shootout that year, I watched every lap. Essentially every lap. I might have got up a couple times, go get something to eat or something. I don't know. I didn't move too much. So I love watching it, but I don't know anybody in it. I don't know the names that are all in it.
They're
and I mean, we could have them here on the show. I mean, I would love to, but I just don't know them. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it's cool, but I kind of like the full body cars a little better. But I mean, it's prestigious. You know, both of them are.
Sure. I know Kyle Busch is going to be going to race the Chili Bowl. Did I hear Christopher Bell was going to be racing it? Maybe.
I think he will.
I think so.
I thought I heard something about that too.
So we'll see who all is going to be out there. I know some people are probably keeping up with that more than I am. So that's cool. But we'll be talking about that. You know, like I said, this is probably our last episode for the year. We got the New Year's bash coming up, and our buddy Brian come in the shop a little while ago, and he looked at my car and he said, "You ain't gonna make it to the bash." I said, "Oh yeah, I am." "Oh yeah, I am. I'll make it."
Challenge accepted.
I will make it. I promise you. Nah, it looks worse than it is.
Yeah.
I promise. Because the body's actually mostly put together just sitting in a trailer. Just got to sit it back over it and pop some rivets in it.
Yep.
So it's all good. I am changing. I took the whole dash out of there and everything, and redoing some stuff in there.
It's a good time to get to stuff when you got your car tore down here.
Matt just said he might have to take the Legend.
All
right. Well, you ain't sold it yet, so I guess you will. Come on. That's on. Are they having that one Sunday or it's just Saturday?
I think they'll probably do both.
I saw the schedule. Let me pull up the schedule really fast here. I know the Challengers will be running on Saturday. Also will be qualifying and all that for the
yeah, that takes a while
for the bash itself. On Saturday, let's pull up the schedule right here. Let's see. Saturday racing will be Legends, starting at 5 o'clock, New Year's Bash. That will be on January the 4th, that's Saturday. Legends B main, dirt late models, which is really cool, having dirt late models on the asphalt. Having a pretty good race with him. Then Challenger AR/limited, UCAR/pure stock, and then the Legends A main race. And then Sunday, January 5th, will be Legends. They will have a B main. What is that? C. Oh, that's mini stocks. Mini stocks. Street stock last chance. Mini stock A main. Legend A main. And then there will be the mass street stock. 100 laps. That coming up at Dillon Motor Speedway for the New Year's Bash. Just keep watching social media. We'll keep up to date on everything there for sure. Got a lot of work to get done for it. I don't know, so we shall see.
Yep.
All right, Connor. The final college playoff bracket came out. What's your thoughts?
There's just I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest with you. There's some teams that Clemson, they did what they had to do. They won their conference championship.
By the
but
rule,
it doesn't
by
leave,
the rule,
it doesn't leave a good taste in your mouth. It doesn't. I don't know. There's I don't know about the whole automatic bids thing.
I did appreciate because
Some-
everybody said they were going to get to buy the first round. Well, they're not.
Yeah.
So
Some of it's kind of weird, like the number 1 seed Oregon. We'll probably have to play a better team than
yeah.
the number 3 seed, whatever. Just the way the bracket is. I don't know. I'm excited for the games. I think the playoff atmosphere will be cool. But
Me and Sterling talked about it a little bit the other day, and I really think, and I don't think this would have helped South Carolina. Oh, we actually got South Carolina license tag up here on the wall now, finally. Gamecock. But I don't think this would have helped them in any way because we were a 3-loss team. But I think we need to get rid somehow of the human voting there. There needs to be some metrics that it goes by, a computer goes by.
yeah, they got rid of the computer because they couldn't account for some of the human elements. I don't know which way's better, which way's worse.
Well, I just think, and it might not even necessarily have to be computer. There just needs to be
Needs to be some more
some metric that goes
consistency.
into it.
Yeah. And I've tried to think about it because college football is so much different than
It is.
the NFL.
So many teams.
NFL, you're gonna have some schedules varying, but you're always playing NFL teams.
Yeah, you're
know.
always playing NFL teams, and you're playing the majority of the team.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not.
College is just so much different. I don't know. I've been trying to think. I would say maybe that I don't know. Perhaps say if you're at SEC, you have to play instead of playing 4 D2 teams or whatever. You got to play a team from the Big Ten, a team from the Big 12, and a team from the ACC. But I don't know. There's so much stuff going on.
Yeah, I think
It's just such. I agree. We need to get some of the subjectiveness out of it.
Yeah, for sure. It's the only thing I can think. So I don't know. I feel like I'm not dogging on Clemson because I'm a Carolina fan, but I feel like they're going to be out first round.
Most likely. They just
I think they're playing
Texas
first
Yeah.
round. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
But you never know. Hey,
Yeah,
Dabo has been there many times, so
he has.
give him
He
give him
knows how to
that.
do it.
But
He knows how to do it for sure.
it's Carolina beat them,
I know.
in Clemson. Just
I told somebody the other day, made them mad, I think. We were at church, actually, and I said, so basically how I see this South Carolina's the ACC champion. No, don't worry like that. I was like, well, I get that, but I don't know. Like SMU, that's one that I felt like they shouldn't have been where they were. I get they had more win there, but their strength of schedule was just
wasn't good.
Nothing. It was like I heard something was like 80th.
Yeah, it was in the 80s.
I don't know. Yeah. It's only
just what do you
do?
Yeah, I mean, what do you look at?
I don't know.
Strength of schedule or wins? What's more important? Who knows?
I mean, wins are important.
Yeah,
I mean they are. Because and that's why I look at with South Carolina. I'm not saying South Carolina because South Carolina had a chance. All they had to do was not get beat by Alabama or LSU. One of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Either one.
Yeah, 100%.
And they'd have been in the playoffs. So, it is what it is. I really, really hope that Beamer's going to do more with the team than I feel like it's going to happen. I hope I'm wrong about it with as many players as we're losing in the offseason.
Yeah. You have to hit the portal hard,
Yeah, for sure. Have you heard? Have they announced bowls?
Yeah, we're playing Illinois
in
the Citrus Bowl.
It is Citrus.
Yeah, in Orlando. Yeah.
So we kind of got the best of the worst.
Yeah, we did. I mean, that was kind of an underlying thing there, because the Citrus Bowl, member board or whatever gets to pick, which SEC team they want, and they get the first pick, and they picked us over Alabama and Ole Miss. So that's a small victory, I guess.
We'll take it.
Yeah, but I don't know. So hopefully, and it's like they said, hopefully they don't come out disappointed. They didn't make the playoffs like Florida State did a couple years last year, and not look good in the bowl game. So hopefully they respond the right way and get 10th win.
That's right. Hopefully it happens. I want to say real quick, talk about our tree over here. I got a few names I got to put on it over here. I need to go get my marker over there. Kel Maben, we got to put his name on the tree. We got to put what we putting on there.
Just put S&W Racing.
S&W Racing, we got to put on there. My mom donated, so Rosie Rogers going on there. We appreciate all those donations, and if you can, please. We had a post on our social medias that has went out. I need to probably pull it. It's pinned, but I need to repost it again just to make sure everybody sees it. We got our PayPal or our Cash App on there that we are collecting money. We'll write your name on one of these checker flags on the tree. Every bit of money that is raised will be headed to Feed the Carolinas for the Hurricane Helene victims. Trying to help them for Christmas time and whenever else. They need help in general. So if you can spare $20 or more, get your name on the tree, but we will take any donation for sure. So we appreciate all y'all out there. But let's see if we can fill up this tree with names for Christmas time, and just help us out. And we would greatly appreciate it. If you got any questions about it, shoot me a message. Shoot us a message on Facebook, Instagram, X, wherever. If you want our Gmail, you can send us an email at chickenbonealleypodcast@gmail.com. Got that too. So shoot us a message wherever if you need any help with it, and we will be glad to help you out. But on top of that, I want to thank everybody that has watched our episodes this year. Watched us come into a new set here. It's been a lot of fun. All of our sponsors that have helped us out, couldn't do it without you. SRI Performance, Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, Earl Ramey Racing Engines, Profab Headers and Exhaust, Dixie Made, MPM Marketing, Fresh Chef, RevMax Racing Apparel. Am I missing anybody? Did I leave anybody out? I don't think I did. I think I got them all. Hopefully I did. But also all the tracks we've worked with, Florence Motor Speedway, Dillon Motor Speedway. Appreciate them having us when we've been over there and covered some races, even And just all of you for watching, because obviously if you don't watch, we don't really have a show. So, or listen, whichever one you do. It's been a good season at it. A lot of craziness this season, I felt like, in racing.
Yeah.
It has been a wild year. We've had some wild finishes, wild wins. Unfortunately, like Tyre down there, we've had the death of Scott Bloomquist this year, which is, kind of the low point for the year, and just a wild 2024. So I guess we will round out our, let's see, I guess this is the 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I guess this is rounding out our 5th season of this. Started 2020. So, woo. It has flew by for sure. But we appreciate all y'all for watching, all y'all for hanging out with us on all the social media posts. There's a ton of people that respond and reply and all that good stuff on social media that we we have a lot of fun with. Robert, we appreciate that, buddy. Appreciate that for sure. But guys, be watching our social media. We'll still have some updates between now and the end of the year, but I reckon that kind of does it for us. I reckon.
Guess so. Till New Year's Bash.
Till the New Year's Bash. All right, everybody. I hope y'all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we will be talking with y'all soon.
Later.
Also want to thank, I don't know how I missed it right there in my end. I just looked up and I was like, dang it. It's been a crazy day. I want to thank our buddy Skylar Whitfield. I do want to add this here real quick. Skylar will be on the 11th at Molly Darcy's Irish Pub in North Myrtle Beach. The Old Irish Pub in Myrtle Beach on the 13th. And on the 14th, be at Murphy's on the Ocean. So, anyway. Y'all go check out Skylar Whitfield for sure. He's a good guy, good friend of ours, and definitely keep you entertained. But anyway, guys, all right. Appreciate y'all, and we'll be talking with y'all sometime in the near future. Have a good one.